Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Phoenix Trading Strategies Training Room, where strategic knowledge and information allows you to trade successfully. For those of you that are here for the first time, welcome. For those of you that are back, welcome back. You have been missed. And I hope you've missed me too. Before we continue, let's go to the disclaimer. We're going to cover quite a bit of information today. Disclaimer: future stocks and spot currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in future stocks and forex markets. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell future stocks or forex. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed on this website. Past performance of indicators or methodology are not necessarily indicative of future results. Being that said and done, let us go to the calendar. And what do we have here? So we have FOMC member Bernard speaking this morning at within the next 55 minutes at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We have NAHB Housing Market Index. That's always now probably come in better than expected or at par. A federal election in Canada all day. Wow. Canadians must be happy. Then at around 12 noon, we have FOMC member Lacker speaking, and we have Treasury currency reports for the U.S. at the same time. And then in the evening, we have monetary policy meeting for Australia. And then tonight, we have trade balance, German producer price index, current account for the euro. We have member McCafferty from the UK speaking from BOE. We have Governor Carney speaking from the BOE. Tomorrow, wholesale sales. We have building permits, housing permits, and everyone, including their mother, wants to speak tomorrow. You know, they're all in a financial crisis and they don't know what to do with themselves. Yes, it is 6:06 a.m. Pacific. That is correct. And it is 9:06 a.m. Eastern. It's a little early, but we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So let us continue. So at least now we know that there is really no news that's going to affect a trade this morning except one within the next 55 minutes. So it should be very, very interesting to see. Sometimes when there's no news, it's actually better. So let's go to the charts and let's see what we have. The pound Aussie beat us to the gun. Beautiful trade. So today we're going to cover quite a few things, as we look at trades, because it's always interesting. So let's begin by looking at the treasuries. Treasuries are always interesting. I always like to look at the futures first before we look at now mine says 6:08 a.m. I don't know where that box says it's that time because I have in this one right now, we're in the current candle for the 15-minute. Oh, I see what you're saying. Probably the one for GoToWebinar. That's their mistake. They bug me sometimes. It bugs me sometimes to see that. Really, in Forex Factory? Then, you're right. Then theirs is all messed up. Don't know what to tell you. Well, let's continue. So let's look at treasuries. Treasuries came down, and they've been down. Now let's go over the indicators because this is where it's going to get really interesting for many of you. That's why many of you are here. I'm sure that you all got the video. Wasn't that a phenomenal, fantastic presentation? I just patted myself on the back and said, good boy, good job, good job. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? So what we have here, let's go over the indicators one more time for everyone's. The dots. So the turquoise dots that you see here, or cayenne dots that you see here, these are, let's expand it. These are trend dots. Now, when they go cyan, they're bullish. When they go red, they're bearish. When they transition from one to the other, they go gold. These little plus signs that you see here, that's a trend stop. That's an ATR level. And when it's broken, of course, everything changes. We do not trade when they break the trend stop. We trade beforehand. The new indicator, called the Phoenix Price Identifier, is this. You see these little dashes between the candles. And what this does, it's a real phenomenal algorithm that we created. It's, this was not by accident, but really with a lot of research was put into this. And what this indicator does is that this indicator actually identifies the real price level that the buyers and the sellers are interested. So the dash where that lies in each candle is really telling you that that's the price that the buyers prefer to buy at. And the red one is the one that the sellers prefer to sell at. So a very interesting concept, and one that we have not been able to see for a very, very long time, because everyone usually says that price or volume is determined by the size and the wick of the candle, which is to a certain degree, but we could never see the preference of when the buyers or sellers, for that matter, were going to slow down the purchase as a trade was basically going short. So in this case, we have a signal right here, even though it lies, close to the middle, but it's telling us, because it's telling us that the buyers are not interested in buying any lower, and that their interest in buying is starting to slow down, which is exactly what's happened here. So what happened in the next column? And that gives us a 2-candle warning. Now, when that happens, you have one first candle basically stops and sets the support level. And as you can see here, the sellers are still interested in selling further, but the buyers are saying, no, 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 we are not going down. Hold your horses. And then the next one comes in, and when the next one comes in, it will usually retest and then bounce up. Now, when it bounces up, if you see that the dash closes higher than the previous 2 candles, then you know that it's on, which in this case it was. It wasn't a grand move. I mean, this was a very simple move. This was a move from 158.07 all the way up to 158.16. Not a big move, but it's the concept that I want you to wrap your head around. They do the same thing here. Look at this. What is it that they did here? They slowed it down. The minute they went short and they threw the kitchen sink at this, and this is where volume comes in, because our volume indicator does something completely different than everyone else's. It actually tells you the excess amount of orders that they currently have and why they're not getting filled. Now, those could be limit orders, those could be market orders, we don't know. I don't care, to be quite honest with you. Now I'll explain why. Because even though we don't have power dots here, and we probably would in the smaller time frame, but we don't, what this is telling you, this specific candle, is that the buyers are no longer interested in buying any lower than this price level, but the sellers are. The sellers are interested in selling and offering at a lower price, but this is where it starts. So what we've done is that we've actually been able to pinpoint and decode their Morse code. That's a strong statement to make, but a real one. And this is where it's going to take you to the next level, because this new indicator is going to give you a 2-candle warning. 2, not 1, not 3, but 2. Now this is a 15-minute candle. So that means that you got a 30-minute warning. 30-minute. And even when you get that 30-minute warning, it's really 3, because it's on the 3rd candle when they're going to execute the trade. But more importantly is that you're going to know where exactly and from what price they're going to execute that trade from. And it's not down here. It's right here. Why? Because what happens is that the sellers and buyers agree to a certain price, which is, in this case, this is it. And so from this point, this is where the third candle is going to basically explode from. And when it moves, and it moves fast. The third candle is usually the one that kicks. But the first one is the one that tells you, hey, pay attention, we're slowing down. Now, normally we would have power dots here. So I'm going to show you another example where we did have power dots. But what I'm trying to tell you is that before we would rely on the power dots as a signal where volume and momentum would be coming in, which wasn't wrong. On the contrary, just like here, what happened here? As soon as this power dot formed, you need to look 2 back. Why? Because the last 2, before we would look at one before, but now we can actually see and reason behind what is actually happening. And so this is where the volume indicator comes in. It's a real, the strategy has now evolved. And it's going to revolutionize the way we all trade, especially you. Because now you're going to be able to see that going short is no longer feasible. So not only can you pinpoint the entry, you can pinpoint the exit. That to me is worth just as much as nailing nailing the entry. So when you really think about it, now you have a complete system, because now you can when they're going to rebalance their position. You know when their order flow is changing. You know when what entry they're going to use, and you know, if you're going short, that the exit is coming real quick. And you got time to hit the last tick, to hit the last pip. That's a part of reality. That part of reality is one that no one out there offers except us. So let me show you the numbers. This is a great example where you can actually see the numbers. And this is where, I call all the volume spread analysis, volume price analysis, volume divergence, and order flow morons, because they have the wrong formula. Oh my God, someone slapped that man. The wrong formula, ladies and gentlemen, but we got the right one. The one that's going to make cha-ching. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the cha-ching. We want that register to ring ching-ching every time we hit a trade. Oh, yeah, baby. So, as excited as I am, you should be too, because now you get to see the magic. So remember, what do the power dots do? They announce to us that there is volume and momentum coming in. And what does that do? That gives us time. Now, normally, I've told you that your entry should be on the 4th or 5th candle. And I've always stipulated that from a conservative level. But now, you can go in immediately on the 2nd or even the 3rd candle of the power dot formation. Why? Because now, as soon as the first power dot shows up, we're going to see, is this really going to hold or not? Are they really going to change directions or not? Are they going to establish a support or resistance level? Are they going to slap anyone that goes against them? The answer is yes, 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 and yes. And so here it goes. So we get the first power dot. We go back to, and we see, okay, what happened here? They went short. The sellers were down here, but the buyers said, no, no, no. I'm giving you fair warning. You got 2 more candles, and after that, I'm going to slap you. I'm going to beat you silly, and I'm going to turn this thing around, whether you like it or not. So you have 2 candles to rebalance your position. And that is the Morse code that we have never seen before. Now, order flow is different because, see, the order flow morons out there, what they do is that they give you the price and a bunch of numbers. Oh, they love to impress you with numbers and Renko and show you the dome and this is what's happening and here and there. And they're wrong. They got the wrong formula. It's so sad. When I discovered they had the wrong formula, I jumped for joy. I said, hallelujah, I'm the man. God is shined on my head, and God is shining on yours. But when I saw their mistake, I was like, oh, God, I know. I knew there was a God. He was right here with me. Oh, my goodness. And so when I discovered that they were looking at it the wrong way, because, see, it's not where all the volume goes into that candle. There's a special price where the buyers and sellers are meeting and offsetting the orders. No, that's wrong. That is so wrong. It's not even funny, because that's not the real place you should be looking at. You should be looking that the buyers are saying, hey, this is my favorite price level, and I don't want to go beyond that. And the seller said, hey, well, you got to give me time. I'm sorry. Well, the buyer said, well, I'm going to give you 2 candles. How's that sound? And then the seller said, well, okay, I'll think about that. And they go, well, don't think about it too much, because if you think about it too much, I'm going to show you my strength and my muscle. When I flex my muscle, I'm going to punch you, and it's going to hurt. And so in this case, that's exactly what's happening. The buyers are telling them, hey, I am going to go long, and be aware of it. I'm going to give you a signal, and you're going to take it. But I'm going to give you time to rebalance your position. Haven't I always said that they negotiate amongst themselves? Well, the numbers don't lie. Look at the volume here. And this is where it's going to get interesting. 515 million on the buy, 874 million on the sell, difference of 359 negative, and it did move the candle. Look at the next one. It increases 245 million on the buy, 685 million, so a difference of 440, and it does move. But what is that excess volume of 359 and 440 are orders that are not getting filled. They're not getting offset by the buyers, because the buyers are telling them, if you don't sell to me at the price that I'm signaling you, I'm not buying anything from you. You can go fly a kite. And so the magic continues. They go down further. But each time the buyers are establishing a price, telling the sellers, I'm not interested in letting you take this down any further. So get ready. Here I come. So now the volume decreases. Look at this. It increases in one way, but it decreases in another. You got 600 million on the buy, 624 on the sell, difference of 24 million. But you can see that that excess cumulative net volume has decreased. Why? Because the sellers know that the buyers ain't going to offset unless they sell it to them at a specific price that they're looking for, which is this baby right here. This is a signal. And so the next candle comes in. So we get our first power dot, which we know this stops it all. This is where they say halt. And this algorithm, I told you many times, has always defined support and resistance levels by establishing a price level that cannot and should not be broken, because they need to rebalance their order book. So that's exactly what they do. So here, the next candle comes in, and look at the volume. They're throwing the kitchen sink at this. 1.155 million against 621 million on the buy. On the buy. A difference of 534 million. That was not filled by the sellers, which was positive volume. But it doesn't. But remember what that I told you, that they were going to come in and throw the kitchen. The buyers were going to flex their muscle and say, "Stop! We're not going down any further." And let me show you why. This is what's happening now. In the second candle, they come in and they flex their muscle and they stop. They stop the selling. Then they come in on the third candle. Looky here. The sellers are trying to sell everything they got, and the buyers ain't buying. You got 394 million on the buy, 1.061 million on the sell, 1,061 on the sell, and you got a difference of 667. What have I told you before? That with that excess negative volume, if they're not breaking through the floor, that means that the sellers are offering prices below this price level, down here, 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 down here. And the buyers are saying, no, no, no. Bad, bad, bad boy. I'm going to spank you right now, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be one of those that has that sound, you know. And when it has that sound, then you know that the next one, which you could have gone in on this one or even on this one, is the one where it goes because the volume decreases and you can see the decrease in volume. 439 on the buy, 414 on the sell, negative, positive 25. The sellers know that they're done, so they gave it up. And then from that point, bam, they went long. Now, here, for instance, would not have been able to tell that they would have gone short, except here, you know. Let me show you which one. This would have been the one, this one, and this one. Why? You see that there's no wick on the short? What that means is that, and the only reason why is it's overlapping. And sometimes when it overlaps and there's more than three, it doesn't show. So the sellers would be down here. The buyers up here, the sellers down here. So the sellers are slowing it down, giving you a 2-candle warning. 1, 2. And then, of course, they'll attempt to do a retest, and then bam, they hit that one short. But we would have known they were going to go short here, here, and here. And they did. This one basically gave the warning, and this one executed it. Came back. When this one opened, it didn't open up here. No, that's just the wick. It opened right here, right below these. And so it just slammed everyone. But then here, you know, they sort of slowed it down. The sellers were trying to sell aggressively. The buyers held it. And it becomes, one of those games over and over and over again. This is not a trade that I would have taken. And I have my reasons for that because it would not have given me enough time to do so. So let's go. Let's look at some questions real quickly. Okay. Oh, I get it now. In order for them to sell, there has to be buyers. If the buyers are at a higher price, the selling stops. Aha! We have the aha moment. Oh, yeah, baby. That's right. Preaching the gospel, volume studies, and true price action. You know it. So, yes, now that you've seen the example, yes. Now, the sentiment indicator, as I said before, I use it to move my stops. I don't use it to define my entry. But the volume indicator, I use. And I use that one very religiously, now more than ever, to confirm their mistake. And their mistake is very clear. Why is that? Here's an example, prime example. They did the same thing. They came short. What did they do? The buyers held it up here. This is the price that they said, no, I'm not buying any more from you on the downside. Like it or not, I'm going to flip you. I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to take you to my level. They make one more attempt, and the volume don't lie. Let's show the volume. Oh, my goodness. Lord have mercy. You know, my sons were laughing at me. They're like, Dad, you're crazy. They go, you're a mad scientist at work. And I go, yeah, but I love it so much. So here it is. Look at the volume on this bar. 171 on the buy, 567 on the sell, difference of 396 on the negative. 396 orders that weren't filled because the buyer said, no, I want it up here. And if you're not going to give it to me up here, I don't want it at all. I don't care what you say. And so the sellers continued to insist, but the buyer said, no, no. So what do we have here? We have a 2-candle warning. 1, 2. This one comes in 787 on the buy, 851 on the sell. Again, the sellers are trying to drive the market, and the buyers are saying no and establishing their support level again at the same place that it was previously. So what happens here? The buyers are up here, the sellers are down here, but the buyers say no. Next candle, 529 in the buy. And here's where the sellers throw the kitchen sink at it because they know there is no tomorrow, so they might as well just give it up. 529 million on the buy, 642 million on the sell, terms of 113 orders that didn't get filled for the sellers. And then the third candle comes in and bam, they just slap someone and it hurts. And anyone on the wrong side of that trade just got whipped, beaten, and served. Now, this same principle applies in Forex and stocks. Oh, yes, we have done it. We have created the perfect formula. The formula that will lead you to the promised land. Oh, yes, when the angels will come out The heavens will open, you'll see the angels, they'll sing, and there'll be a hallelujah moment. And you'll go, aha, that's what I was looking for. I knew Ricardo was onto something, but he wasn't quite there yet. But he's got it now. Exactly. And now you have it too. And that's the beautiful thing. So let's look at the charts and let's see what where the magic begins. So we've gone over an example now. Now let's look for a trade and let's see why Jamie Dimon should buy my formula since they had all these losses. Okay. Now, ooh, this is beautiful. Look at this. We don't have power dots, and that's okay. We'll go down to the smaller minute. Why not? Now, what am I looking at here? On the 15-minute, the buyers are here. Now, they came short. What did they do? They stopped, and now they're getting ready to go long. Not short, but long. Why? Because they're here, here, and here. So, and this is the Dow. But let's look at the volume. Let's confirm. And looky here. And you're going to see this thing go long. 506 on the buy, 682 on the sell. Difference of 176 that did not get filled. You have 486 on the next one right here, 308 on the buy. So you got positive volume, and the buyers are holding it right there, saying, no, we ain't going below that level. A pivot is established, and now you got 532 on the buy, 397 on the sell. You got positive volume, and now you got the trade. Here it is. You got the trade, and it's going to go long. Now, it may not go long for a lot. Doesn't matter. The fact that it's going long is all that matters. Nothing more. That's all that matters. Nothing more matters except for the fact that this bad boy is going long. So if you wanted to take the trade, knock yourself out. I'm a little late. I usually like to get in on this one, but it's going to ruin, from 7062 to, I'd say it'll come up here maybe. And remember, we can now see right before they're going to end their trade. Couldn't see that before. So if you were short, the minute you saw this candle, you knew it was the next candle to get out of town before they changed it, twisted it, and then beat you silly with it. I have a good friend of mine, he's Korean. I love him to death. He's one of my best friends. And he used to tell me that his dad, because he was such a pest when he was a kid in high school. I mean, this rebellious to the bone. So his dad would buy bamboo stick, and he would just peel that sucker left and right, and then he'd give him a good one with a bamboo stick, because he wouldn't get A's. And of course, Richard didn't want to get A's because he said, I'm doing this just to spite my father. Well, in this case, I don't want to spite anyone. I got nothing to be angry about. I got everything to be happy about. So every time that they move and they twist, I know about it. And I know when they're going to move and when they're going to twist and how they're going to twist and how they're going to move. So now the game's changed. Now we actually have purpose that we didn't have before. So see, now it's worth getting in long. Now it may be short-lived. This may not be a very big trade. Like I said, it may not, but that's okay. It may do the deed. So see how they're pushing it? The sellers are here, which is not a good sign. So what you have to wait for is you have to wait for the candle to close. And now they disappeared. Do you know why? Because they're up here. So now this one's going to move. But how many candles did they give you? 1, 2, and then boom, 3. How does that feel? Does that give you a soothing feeling? Does that put your mind at ease? Because we all want to have our minds put at ease. I mean, let's be real about this. There's nothing better than forecasting before everyone else knows about it. Oh my God, that's a sin. You can't say that in trading, Ricardo. How dare you? No one can predict the market like that. Phoenix trading strategies can, baby. You know it. And so the magic begins. So how magical is life going to be for you if you have this software? How magical is trading going to be for you? Because now you can actually really identify the buyers and the sellers' true intent. Not only by decoding their volume, but by decoding the real prices and point of controls that they're establishing in each candle. Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Give that man some coffee. Wake him up. And so this is a wake-up call. For those of you that are here, this is probably the best lesson you're ever going to get, because it ain't going to get any better than this. Oh, no. Well, it can get better, of course. You know, I can do much more things. But I can really make this spin. And I mean spin. You know, this is my new toy. It's a beautiful toy. What do you think? So let's have some comments. Don't be afraid. I'm willing to take criticism. And why do I say this? Because I need you to feel it. I need you to see it, and I need you to reason it and understand it. Because if you can wrap your head around this model, you're done. That's it. Everything that you studied in the past finally made sense. Support and resistance, Fibonacci, Elliott wave. Now you can understand when these deceitful bankers, for lack of a better word, are actually trying to cheat you, and know why. Oh my God. But Ricardo, you're not supposed to ask why. How could you? How dare you say such a thing? This is seeing things from a broker point of view. Actually, the brokers have no understanding of this because they're all idiots. And I know this because I used to be a broker, and I didn't have my head wrapped around this. It's actually better. This is from the banker's perspective, from the market maker's perspective. You are literally on the bloody VIP list. Let me say this to you. You are very important individuals. You're important to me, and now you're extremely important to them because now you're dangerous. Now this makes you dangerous. Why? Because you know what they don't want you to know. This is it. This is graduate school, ladies and gentlemen. You just got your PhD in volume spread analysis, in volume price analysis, in volume divergence, and yes, baby, in order flow. Oh my God. A PhD. You just hit it. So yes, can this principle be applied in Forex and in stocks? The same principle, the same concept. Now, normally I wouldn't take this trade. Why? Because I want to see power dots. So let's go to the smaller time frame and see if we can find some. Let's go to the 10-minute first. Now, I'm sure you're all saying, Ricardo, are you going to post a recording of this? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. So no, there are no power dots here. But what did this candle announce on the 10-minute? The sellers were here, the buyers were up here. They did go long, and I told you it was going to be short-lived, and so now they're shifting and changing. And you can see the volume divergence here. But that's okay because we know that now. We didn't before, but we know it now. But they still have to come back and retest one more time. So am I desperate to get out? No, not really. Because I understand their plan. And their plan of action has a purpose. And that purpose is now defined. Oh, on the 1 minute. Yeah, let me go to the 1 minute. Thank you. So here, for instance, now they really came down, of course. Let's see, let's understand this. So here, it announced it here. They made one more move, and of course they flipped it. And this is all based on bad news, of course. I told you it was going to be short-lived. So yeah, we're going to have to get out of this trade. It's not unfortunate because now you can understand why what is happening. This is a why and what type of scenario. And that is all that matters. So let's see, is this going to continue? Yeah, they're not going to be forgiving bunch of clowns. But that's okay. I proved my point. It did go long. I should have gotten out here when it was up here. I chose not to. It flipped. It is what it is. and they're going to come right back down because all the news in the market is bad. However, now they're holding it here, so we'll see how far this one goes, and if that's the case, and more likely what they're doing is just cleaning up because they may want to reverse. So that's the next step. But I don't think so because now you can actually see the volume divergence. Why do I say that? And you see how the buyers basically accepted to buy at a lower price because the sellers came in and they said, no, we're not going to go down. We're not going to go up. We're going to go down. And so this trade is a continuation of. But now you can see the volume divergence because this candle, they threw the kitchen sink at it to the upside and they failed. And then it came down. So now, whenever you see those spikes in those bars, you can do this and say, okay, let's see if that's going to play. Because that is the only thing that really matters. Because now you're able to see, okay, so that means that they threw the kitchen sink at this to try and drive the market along. And I said, no, short-lived. And look, what did they do? They formed a power dot right here. And so now this is going to continue to the downside. And that's all that matters. Information is now transferred to a way of perception. Now you can perceive the action before it is executed. Now I should have been looking at the smaller minutes, and you know what? That's okay. I really wasn't. I took the trade to show you as an example. But yes, now you have to have multiple monitors because you need to see this. You need to see the shift and the change before it happens. Because if I'm on the 15-minute it's going long, I want to know that on the 5-minute they're going to continue, because the minute they hold off, then that will give me a signal that it's time to go. And when you're trading futures, you have to be trading in the smaller time frames. When you're trading Forex, you have to be trading in the higher time frames. So let's take a look at gold. Let's see. I like gold. Gold and me are buddies, especially silver. You know, because silver is such a that one has no name. I mean, it rips and beats and just stings every time it trades. And if you're on the wrong side, oh, ouch, it hurts. But now we can actually see when they're going to flip. See, let's look at this. What happened here? What happened in this candle? The buyers, even though it came down short, the buyers said, we are going to change the game. We're going to continue to go long. What did they do? They gave you a 2-candle warning before they went long. However, short-lived. Why? Because the sellers were announcing, well, you may want to go long, but I'm going to flip you, and we're going to go right back down. And so what happened here? Yes, they gave us a 2-candle warning on the 5-minute. This one came down. The buyers held it. What happened here? Boom, up. Not much. And why do I say not much? Because from 1175.60 to 1176.60 is only $1 move. But the sellers started to announce on this candle and on this one that they were going to change. So as soon as this came in, because you know, the sellers were down here and the buyers were up here, that's the anomaly you're looking for. That's it. That's the one that says it all. Now, did you have plenty of time to assess if they were going to flip it? The answer is yes. Because as soon as this one came in and you see the sellers way down here and then the buyers are conceding, they're accepting, even though this is a long candle, let's look at the volume. There's nothing better to confirm than volume, because our volume indicator will tell you exactly that, and that's exactly what it tells you here. You got 329 on the buy, 262 on the sell, difference of 67 of positive volume, which are orders that did not get filled. So what does that tell you? They're done. But I always say go back 2 candles, because that'll tell you a whole other story. 291 on the buy, 201 on the sell, a difference of 90, and they did not explode. That's the question that has to be answered. And here's the one that did it. This is a bullish candle with bearish volume. The anomaly is very clear and the volume is defining it. 262 on the buy, 370 on sell, difference of 108. Why? Because the sellers were down here and the buyers were up here. So of course, but they're telling them, hey, I'm going to flip you. You got 2 candles and then I'm going to give it to you. And that's exactly what they did. They flipped it. But what has happened here? Now the buyers have conceded to some degree. Okay, it went short, but came right back up. The buyers held. The sellers are here. The buyers are here. That is a no-no, and that's why this is going down. And this is really going to go down because I'm thinking this is going to go down here. So from 175.60, it should hit 172.90. Can you see it? That's all that matters. Now we can understand where their true order flow lies with a Phoenix price identifier. You couldn't do it before, but now you can. We could not see what was happening inside that candle. See, now when I say candlesticks have been counter-programmed, oh, I can prove it numerically, visually, systematically. You can't contest it. And if you can, you better come up with a really good formula because I want to see it. Because I'm showing you what they don't want you to know. But now we know. Now we know. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? Where do you stand? Are you a Phoenix or not? Is the question. And this is where it all boils down to. Information. Now, if you knew they were going to come down from this level and you knew that they were going to do it here at this one, you would have gotten in here at 1176.40. You know, that's $1.40 when it was down here. $1.40. Now, what's wrong with this picture? Again, this previous one, you have the buyers up here, the sellers are up here. So, and you have the trend stop right here. So again, you have this tug of war back and forth, but the buyers are down here. This doesn't add up or match up, and that's okay. We don't trade what we don't understand. We trade what we comprehend and understand. And that's why I am telling you that if you have power dots, it's a much better trade than this. This has a higher risk, and this is going to take practice and understanding, and that takes time. But this one, this is basically just, you know, this is a cakewalk because we know the purpose behind it. It has all the elements that we're looking for. So let's go. Let's continue. Let's go to crude. And then we'll go into the FX. Okay, ooh, crude's making a move up. They announced it here. They gave us a 2-candle warning, and the execution is here. Why here? Again, we don't have power dots. See, this is one thing that bothers me to a certain degree. I can identify these trades, and so now I have to draw support and resistance levels manually when I don't have power dots so that I don't miss some of these trades. That's just the bottom line. And that's okay, because if I understand what they're doing, then I can reason with it. Now, this indicator basically told you it stopped cold right here. And it did. It stopped cold right here. And they used this as a support level. So now you have a complete toolkit. Can you see it? Can you visually see it? Can you understand it? Can you grasp it? And I know it's a lot of information in one session, but let me tell you something, now it's no longer a 3-day trading, now it's a 4-day trading. Now we go to the next level. So since we missed this trade, let's go to the FX now. Let's take a look at some pairs on the FX side. And just maybe we'll find one trade. And that's okay, all we need is one trade. You don't need 2, you don't need 3, you just need one. One, that's all. Now, when you're trading on the FX, you got to look at the higher time frames, not the smaller ones. That's the difference between futures and Forex. But the same principle applies. Same principle. Give it a minute. It's a platform thing. So in the meantime, I'm going to put my email down for those of you that have questions. Because you will. I know that. And that's okay. I'm here to answer them. And there it is. Ricardo at Phoenix Trading Strategies. Okay. So now this is going long. I think we looked at this earlier. Maybe not. We looked at bonds. But this is going long. We missed it. Where was the signal? Here. Right here in this candle. Again, no power dots on the 5-minute. I like to look at this in the higher time frame. Like I said, a 10 or a 15-minute makes it all the worthwhile to me. Oh, euro dollar. Good sell. Okay. We'll take a look at that soon. Thank you, Paul. And if you feel brave enough and you want to call me, I'm going to put down my telephone number. There you go. 818-431-1357. And I'm going to type in my Skype while this is doing what it's doing for those of you that wish to Skype me. So, oh yes, we're making Ninja do things that they've never done before. It's a beautiful thing. You know, when you can trade with confidence, when you can trade with knowledge, knowing that you're in control and not the trade, that changes your whole perspective of trading. Okay. So this is a 15-minute. And I like to look at this because it announces, a lot. Now, they started this up here saying we're going to flip it. And then they push down. Now, when they do this on FX, it's sometimes 2, but more likely it's 3 candles. And they do that. And then they flip. So you have to watch for that because normally they'll go down to where power dots or pivots are. And then they'll flip. This one gave plenty of time. The announcement was up here. They announced it here. They announced it here. They came down. And basically stopped right here. Why? Because this one set it up. And then you had a power dot right here. What did we say about the power dots? You got 1, 2, and sometimes 3. So on the FX side, it changes just slightly. But enough to make the difference. And so that is basically what you're looking for. But same scenario, you had plenty of time to determine. You could have seen to the left historically that this was a support level. Did it change? No. You knew this was a resistance level, so as soon as this came in, what happened here? Where was your entry? Well, they gave you quite a few signals here in the power dots, and they pulled back down one more, but then they came right back up. That's why I said this one in the FX side, it could take 3 candles before they actually flip. But when they flip, you got the trade. And that's all that matters. In this one, we've missed the trade, so let's continue. I was looking at the Swissy this morning. I actually like that one. and it looked good going along. So let's see if it played out, which I think it did. Well, look at that. The Dow's rebounded just slightly. So please feel free to ask questions. I know it's a lot of information. It's supposed to be, but it's the type of information that's going to make the difference in your trading. Believe me when I tell you that this type of technology isn't out there. This is true hedge fund technology now that you're dealing with. And you just have to wrap your head around it because we've been taught as retail traders a certain thing. And then when we're taught what the institutional traders are doing and looking at, it changes the whole thing. And I can tell you that a lot of institutional traders don't have what I've created. Oh no. They would kill for this information. You give them a 15-minute warning, they're throwing the kitchen sink, including their mothers, at a trade. Yes, give me 1 second. Let me look at this real quickly and then I'll switch to euro. I just have to wait for it to populate. So if you're late and you missed the presentation, shame on you. Shame on you. And it did. It went long. It announced it here. First power dot. I looked at it and I said, oh, you bad boys, you're going to flip. And they did. They gave a 2-candle warning on the 15-minute and then bam. Now they came right back, but it's okay. Went from 95.48 up to 95.62. That's not bad. That's a 15-pip trade so far. It's not done yet. Still has some room to move, but we missed it. We're late. And so, yes, when you see the power dots form, the trades are much, much more better. So let's go to the euro, since we do have a request for it. Now, please understand that I've dedicated my whole weekend to analyzing this left and right, trying to find a flaw, and I can't seem to find a flaw. This is flawless. I mean, it is just a beautiful thing. As I said, it doesn't get better than this. It can with my training, but for the time being, it's flawless. For analysis, oh my goodness. Like I said, we just made Ninja look like a hero. And if you're a ninja, a phoenix and a ninja, you're on fire. You're untouchable. Like I said, you just became the most dangerous individuals on the planet to the banks. Because now you know what they don't want you to know. And then many times, they don't even know themselves. Because some of their programmers are a bunch of idiots too. So let's give it a minute. It's going to come out, I promise. I've got too much volume data coming in, that's why. I have 100 days on this. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, this is where they did it. See how the dots make a difference? It's huge. The power dots pretty much announce the shift. Now, they did it here, went long. The sellers held it here, so you had a 2-candle warning. They came up, and this is probably where looking at volume makes the most sense. So let's look at volume, because we go back to, so this one had, oh my goodness, they threw the kitchen sink at this 186 million on the buy, 118 million on the sell, difference of 68 positive. Again, a bearish candle with bullish volume does not make sense. Then this one is 208 million on the buy, 140 on the sell, difference of 68. That 68 million in orders that are not getting filled. Then you have this one, which pulled back, and this is the one that basically said, okay, it's on, get ready for the short. So here you got 172 on the buy, 103 on the sell, difference of 70 million. Again, that could not get filled to the upside. And then finally you got 184 on the buy, 156 on the sell, difference of 30 million positive that didn't get filled. And then this should be the last one. This is where they throw the kitchen sink at it. 198 on the buy, 119 on the sell, 80 million that did not get filled. And they finally flip it. And when they flip it, that's where it ends. So this candle, see, this is what I don't like when they come to the trend stop and the trend stop does this. Unless I see the next candle break through it, they'll use it as a support level. But in this case, it looks like they're going to break right through it because the buyers have conceded down here. They did it here and they did it here. So you got one more candle to the downside. It ain't over yet. Oh no, it ain't over yet. Did you get out, Paul? Because you took this trade. What price did you take this trade at? Let's see again. Okay, you took this trade 133.75. Wow, you were up here. Look at you. You're a bad man. That's close to 50 pips, my good man. Yeah, 1 minute does tell a beautiful picture. You could actually use this on a 1 minute. It's amazing. I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind. There's, me and Paul were looking at this on Friday. Was it Friday, Paul? Yeah, it was Friday, actually. And, we were going over the concept and, because I'm encrypting it, there's no way no one's going to decompile this puppy. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this one. 17 pips, very nice. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this one. And because there's going to be a lot of those, like I said, order flow morons that don't know what they're doing. And now I can prove that they don't know what they're doing. Ricardo, did you just say that? Oh, no. How could you? You got to laugh. You really do. Because now their software has become useless. And mine has just increased in value. And that's no joke. This has just gotten more expensive. So those of you that didn't get it, oh my goodness. When there's a saying, it's time to pay the piper, I'm the piper. I used to love that riddle. Peter Piper picked the pip. Yeah, forget it. I can't say it. I never could. I hated that. So, yes, can magic be done with this? You know it. All the time. Every day. You can find a trade every session, every day. It is going to take you, you're going to twist them, beat them in every manner you can possibly imagine. You're in control. Now it's just a matter of getting in on the game. Another one of my students that we were going over this on the weekend on Saturday. Sandy, how are you? She's the one that actually turned me on to this a little bit. And so I ended up, rearranging everything. But yes, let's see a look at this. If really, very good, my dear, very good. All right, so the trade is over on this one. Let's continue. Let's take a look at the CAD. I hate the CAD. I really dislike it. It's such a anomaly on its own. But now we can actually figure out what they're doing. They call it loony for a reason, but now we can understand their lunacy. So let's give it a minute. Let's give it a minute. It'll come out soon, 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 soon. Let's give it a second. And I'm going to change the volume settings right now, the data series, because I got too many days populating on it, and I don't need it anymore. Oh yes, we were looking at the Russell and the E-minis, me and Sandy on Saturday, and we were saying it was going to go short, and it did go short. We saw that on the higher time frames. That's what I was going to tell you guys. On the higher time frame, you can see this. If you see this on a higher time frame, there's no question that the trade is going to take place. None at all. And it's going to be a good one. So if you can find this type of setup on a 120, a 180, a 240, a 300, a 480, a 90 minute, oh, it just takes it to another level. Now see this trade, shame that it was very early in the morning. I hate when they do that, you know. But again, they gave you a 2 candle warning. The third one's the one that kicked in. So like I said, this one's not as crazy as it seems. They repeated the level. See, you had a level here. Let me bring this in a little more. And let me reduce the data series because I've got too many days coming up. So we're going to bring it down to, let's say 45. Let's go. Okay, give it a second. This was a textbook trade. Textbook. Right now, you're going to see why it was textbook. And it's on the 15-minute. That's what I'm saying. Forex, you got to look on the higher time frame. Same principle applies as if you're looking at futures on the smaller time frames. But in futures, you got to have at least 2-3 charts up because you want to see the anomaly even in the smaller minutes. Because when it shows, you know you have time to flip, to get out. So now you can actually see the exit. Oh my God. Ricardo, you did not say such a thing. Shame on you. And I feel so bad for the banks now. So here it is. Take a look at the. I know you're enjoying this, and I'm enjoying it with you. This is your power dot formation. Oh my God, the super algorithm kicks in. Dun, 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 dun. And what do we have here? And let me get the pointer. Let me get the pointer. What do we have here? The buyers are saying, hey, I'm not going to buy any lower. Get ready because I'm going to flip you. I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to serve you. So I'm going to flex my muscle, and you're going to see it. And so what did they do? They threw the kitchen sink at this. Let's look at the volume. Oh, my God. Look at the volume on this candle. 65 million on the buy, 132 on the sell, terms of 67. First power dot formation. Oops. The 67 did not come through the floor, which should have. Next candle, the buyers are up here again, sellers down here. Uh-oh, anomaly number 2. 142 million on the buy, 119 on the sell, 23 million in positive volume that does not get filled because the sellers haven't finished offsetting their risk to the downside. But they know they got one more candle to do it. And here it is. 148 million on the buy, 120 on the sell, difference of 29 million. What have I always said to you? If there's a short candle with bullish volume, what's the next candle going to be? Bullish. Bullish. And they go, and they clap, and they go, and they clap, and they go, and they go long, baby. And this is that Hail Mary in football that we like here in the U.S., where they throw that thing and they're going for a touchdown, and he hits it. And there it is. And it goes long. And so we just identified that this trade went long. Perfect setup. Class book, textbook trade now for us. Can you feel the excitement? Is it in your skin and blood right now? Because if it's not, I'm telling you, you need to go have some coffee. You got to wake up. What you just seen right now has not been seen before because we're covering 4 things. 4. Let me repeat them. 4. We're covering volume spread analysis, volume price analysis, volume divergence, and order flow in one sitting. Oh. And dinner and dessert have been served. Can we get an amen? So this trade went from, and now let's define this trade went from here, 129.06 to 129.68. So we're talking about a 60 pip trade. Now in Forex, that's phenomenal. That is outstanding, is what that is. So if you're not excited, you better get excited. I'm telling you, this is it. This is where you get your PhD. It doesn't get any better than this in trading. So it's going to take a little while for those of you that have the software, but you'll get there. I promise that you will have that aha moment, and that once that aha moment kicks in, you're going to be like, aha. Now, dangerous trade right here. What did they do? They threw the kitchen sink at this. Sellers are down here. What did they do in this next one? And let's look at the volume, because this is where it really gets interesting. The buyers are down here. How ridiculous is that? And the sellers, if this isn't an anomaly, I don't know what is. But let's look at this. You got 341 million on the buy, 174 million on the sell. A difference of 167 positive that did not get filled. Next candle, because they're going to flip it, or at least it looks like they're going to flip it, is 198 on the buy, 228 on the sell, difference of 30 million. The buyers are still here. The sellers are down here. They're saying, the sellers, I don't want to go long anymore, but I'm going to give you 2 candles. 2. And so that's where we're at right now. So more than likely, this is going to retrace. It ain't going to be a big retracement, but it's going to retrace because they're setting it up. And so if this candle comes short, the next one is the one that I would be interested in to go short. But let's see. And again, it could take 3 candles, so you don't want to jump on it quite yet. You want to wait. Why? Because in this case, see how the sellers came in up here? The buyers are down here and the sellers are up here. The sellers are conceding to sell at a higher price. And so if the buyers take it up, it's because the sellers gave up. So you just got to wait for it. They'll give you the signal. They will. Believe me, they're that dumb. Got the aha today, Paul. You know it. Yeah, buddy. There it is. See, Paul is new. Paul's only been trading with my software now for about a week or so, I'd like to say. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, forgive me. And so now for him to have that aha moment, that aha, you know, my grandfather used to do that, aha, and I'd be, what is that old man thinking about? And then he would tell me, of course, when it was going to rain, that his knees hurt. Now my knees hurt every time it's about to rain. I'm like, God, forsake the man. He punished me by giving me these words of wisdom that now hurt my bones too. Oh, I love my grandfather. I miss him so much. He would be proud today. He would. So, yes, would I normally take this trade? This one has higher risk, but this one, oh no, this one's a gift. This one's a gift from heaven because it has all our elements, every stinking one of them. Now, remember, the sellers were up here, but now they're down here, and I don't like that. However, they were announcing that they were going to slow it down, and they did. Normally, it's on, so they give you 2 candles. So really, we're waiting for the third one, and it ain't there yet, but it's coming. So let's continue. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. I like the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar's been very good. So yes, I want to make you master traders, ladies and gentlemen. That when they see you walking down the line, down the road, you're saying, oh my God, who is that maniac? We're going to have it very soon for you, George. I know you're anxious. No one has it yet, but I'm going to have it ready probably tomorrow. So just bear with. See, George is a believer. George knows when Ricardo comes through. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see this. So this is the Aussie dollar. We missed it. No, couldn't really pinpoint trade here. Let's see if we go down to a 10 minute. Sometimes a 10. What you can't see in the 15, you can sometimes see in the 10. And you know what? Couldn't have happened at a much better moment. You know, my birthday's coming up. I expect gifts from each and every one of you. I don't care if you're outside the country. I'll disconnect your software if you don't send me a gift. Just to punish you for a week. No, no trade here. Not textbook, so not one that we would use. Let's take a look at the pound yen. That was always an interesting little bugger. So yes, my birthday is October 30th. Remember it. Start buying gifts. I'm gonna send you an address so you can send them to me. I want to enjoy my birthday. It's one day before Halloween, so I'm not a Halloween baby. Ah, happy birthday, Paul. Isn't this a beautiful gift to be receiving? The knowledge, the wisdom. Oh, yeah. It doesn't get better than this. Let's give it a second. You know, I just minimized the amount of days in the data series. So this thing should be coming up. Big box of chocolate. Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm gonna, being diabetic is had its benefits. I'm not gonna kill you because I was very sedentary before. I wasn't really doing exercise at all. And my mother and my father would get on my case. They'd like go for a walk, go run, do this, do that, and I'd be, oh God, please leave me alone. I'm working, and yeah, I did it to myself. I have to take accountability for getting sick. But now I walk 2 miles a day. And I feel healthier. I feel happier. I feel wiser. Um, my sugar is down to about between 95 and 110. Doesn't go above 120 when I wake up in the morning, which is a beautiful thing. So 2 miles a day will do it to you. Okay, let's take a look at this. We missed this trade. Could have had it if we would have been here on time. Why? Because they announced it. It was perfect. Textbook, buddy. You know it. Look at this. The buyers are announcing they are not buying if it's not at 184.78, and the sellers are throwing the kitchen sink at selling this, and they just go back and forth, back and forth. But really, this is the one that gave in. The power dots said this price was going to hold, and that's the price it held. And so they went long. Not a big trade. Let's call it for what it is. From 184.69 to 184.94, 20 pips. But hey, if you can take 20 pips out of a Forex trade, you're a magician. Imagine if you take 50 or 60 out of them, or 100. You are a master of the trade. And that's what makes the difference now. That now you are the one in control, not them. So here, for instance, see how the sellers are holding off here and then here and then here? This is telling us that they're going to flip. Now, granted, we don't have power dots here, and they're doing it at the trend stop. But what do we have? Time. Time is in our favor. Volume divergence is already kicked in here. So we need to wait and see if it's going to continue. I'm not sold on this going short yet. But I want to see what the next candle does. Now, if I go to the smaller time frames, I'll be able to see that. Let's go to the 5-minute. Give it a minute. Give it a minute. So yes, if you wanted to see another one of a copy of this video, I'll probably put it up today and we'll send it out. How many of you would like to see a copy of this video? Those of you that don't answer, you're not going to get it. So you better answer. I want to see yes, 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 yes across the board. All right, let's give it a second. Yeah, you see, this is when it all comes down to. It comes down to understanding the reality. George already has a copy. Have you been recording me, George? Let's give it a minute. Godforsaken platform. Can't wait for Ninja 8 to come out. But I'm going to get a new computer too. Sandy told me there's a guy that can build me a real nice desktop that'll be explosive and we won't have these delays anymore. My laptop is powerful, but God, this is ridiculous. All right, so let's see. No trade here. Was there a trade here? Yes. Was there a trade here? You know it. Let's see. Where was the day on this? The beginning of the day. Actually, this trade was, you could tell they were gonna flip it and go long on this one because this announced to you. Look at that. It gave you a one candle warning. You could have been on this trade long. And then it really went long. And then they flipped it, of course, and came right back down. And then they held it here. But you could have gone, this is a continuation of this trade. You could have gone in here. And the fact that the power dots were so distant is a beautiful thing. So yes, the trade can't evade you anymore. No, no, no. No, 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 not at all. You want to see the Russell, huh, Adam? I'm going to have to charge you for that, buddy. But let's take a look at the Russell. I love seeing Jamie Dimon on TV. He looks so polished. But he had losses, so he better look polished right now. He better show the utmost confidence that JP Morgan's going to make a comeback. All right. Okay, so can't really see the actually, no. We can see that they're going to come short from this. It's right here. They're doing it pretty aggressively. I don't like the fact that we can't see any power dots here. Let me go to the 3-minute. And right now, the E-minis are going to be going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay. Yeah, so here it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, this is, it doesn't get better than this. Yeah, it's going to come down. They can't hold it. This was it. This is the anomaly. See the buyers up here and the sellers down here. There's a bullish candle, but the seller's saying no. And look at that. They're establishing the price that they're going to go down from. So let's take that and see how it plays. And this will be it. This is where the show's over. So let's take a look at this. See, it wasn't on this one. This was not the one because the sellers conceded to sell at a higher price. And they did bring it up higher, 2 more candles, of course. But here they held it, and then here they held it. And now what we're seeing is, ouch, don't do that. Yeah, they threw the kitchen sink at volume here. Here they held below it, so they were still selling it. Here they did one more attempt, and now this is where we need to see it come down from. So this is basically where it is. But again, see how the buyers are in the middle of that candle? That is sometimes a very dangerous thing. But it ain't over yet because the buyers can concede and just go boom, down. And so that's what we look for. So let's see if this plays. I don't like the fact that that candle closed with that hash right smack in the middle of it. That is never a good sign. So sometimes you got to wait for it. But this is a 3-minute, so it ain't over yet. I'm still thinking they got to come down. But this isn't one of those trades that we would normally take. There are no power dots. I want to make that very clear. And that's why this makes this trade a little dangerous from that perspective. It's not the textbook trade that we would normally take. Let's see if we find one here. And that's the thing about the Russell. The Russell is very weird. See, this one I probably would have taken to the short side. And it did go short because both myself and Sandy announced this was going to go short. We weren't wrong about it because we saw it in the higher time frames. And there it is. Looky here. There it is. See, the buyers just conceded to the downside. I don't think it'll give much, to be quite honest with you, but it'll give something. You know, something's better than nothing. If it gives you 10 ticks, be happy. Jump for joy. Because you got a strong support level right here. See these pivots? I don't like them. I'm going to tell you what my son says. I don't like that. My 4-year-old, he's such a pest. He really is. He beats up on the 18-year-old. The 18-year-old may be sitting down in the couch watching TV, and then suddenly he comes in from behind and whack. And I sit him down and go, why? Why are you beating up on your brother? Why? What has he done to you? And then, of course, I taught him to say in Spanish, super dummy, super tonto. He goes, because he's a super tonto. And my older son gets mad. He goes, see, Dad, you did this. You caused this. But now the little one, he's just, he's special. He is special. Let's just say that my parents will only take care of him for 1 hour, and then I got to pick him up. That's how special he is. So are there any questions? Make them now, because in 4 minutes, we're done. See, I don't like this. This is something that's bugging me, this candle. See how it's in the middle again? That is really just getting under my skin. Because this would probably be the last candle that I would stay in short. And again, see how they hit this level right here and bounce from it? That's what I'm afraid of, that it's not going to go right through that level. So Hector, you ready to be a Phoenix? Come on, buddy, you can do it. Let's see if it goes through. 10 ticks. There it is. 11, 12. Oh my God. Can we get more out of this? Soon. Come on, buddy. I'll get you financed through PayPal. I want to make this a good Christmas for you, buddy. See, the beautiful thing about this is that now I can go buy myself Paul Parkman shoes. I love their shoes. Not because they're expensive, they're 2,000 bucks a pair, but they're handmade, crafted. I mean, just works of art. You know, I can't eat anymore, so I might as well go dress myself appropriately now. Is more distance of power dots from candles always better, or is there a point? Yes, many times it's better. Yes. And especially in this case, with this indicator, it just doesn't get any better than that. So let's see. We got 1 more minute, and if it ain't going, and we're gonna probably end up closing this. See, I was afraid of this because this one held it right here. I didn't like that, and I didn't like this. That's why I said this was short-lived. You got 10 ticks out of it. It was too good to be true. So I want to see, and I don't, again, it ended up right smack in the middle. So I'm afraid that the next candle is going to flip and go long. I need to see this one really come down, and it just ain't coming down. Now they are selling it because you see the volume indicator here. Oh God, you see right here, they are closing below the 50% line, which is good, but not enough. We still need to see more volume come in and drive this, and it ain't there. And that's okay because, see, they flipped it. Although the buyers did close below, but see how they're maintaining up there? They're really having a hard time breaking this level. This is the one level right here that they just refuse to go under. And that's the one that just bugs me. Because if it breaks below there, it's got to come here. I want it to come here. We're talking 25 ticks on that trade if it comes here. So give it up because we want to take it from you. Isn't it beautiful when you know exactly what they're going to do? Ouch, that hurts them, doesn't it? It's like taking, it's like taking a pin going, ping. So, Adam, I expect a really nice gift, buddy. Because on one contract, you just made some serious bank. And they hit that, and I think I'm done. If it goes down any further, I don't care. If you can extract 20 ticks or more in a trade, what more do you want? Go look for the next one. There's always the next one. That's the beautiful thing about this, that now we can actually tell when these guys are going to do something so foolishly. Now here they hit trend stop right smack on the money and bounced from it. So, and again, see how they're changing. And I said that, I didn't like that. It just, didn't feel right. Maybe one more candle and that was it. But I'm done. And so that's all we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you very much for joining us here at Phoenix Trading Strategies. It has been a pleasure, and believe me when I say pleasure, like there is no other. So I'm going to put my contact information again, because a lot of you are going to want to email me. Now, I have to take my son to speech therapy this morning, and so I'm going to be tied up for the next few hours. So if I don't respond, don't think that I'm not thinking of you. I am. But I got to take care of my little one. And my phone number, if you have any questions, you can call me. And Skype. You can Skype me. And this is... Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a wonderful day. May you have a blessed week, a great trading week. I look forward to seeing those of you that are registered for the European session Thursday morning, Eastern time, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Wednesday to 1 a.m. in the morning. And for those that cannot join us because you don't know the software, I feel for you. You know what you need to do. Call me. I will help you. And Friday morning, we will be back. Have a great week. Thank you so much.